Hey, Ray from Ray Coach here, and today we're talking about what coaching costs and how you can access it regardless of resources. So one thing you need to keep in mind when you think about how to access coaching is you will get what you pay for. I'm going to run through some ways that you can access coaching from the lowest cost to the highest cost out of your pocket, and there are pros and cons to each one. The first and least expensive is usually certification students, coaching students who are learning coaching and getting their certification from the International Coach Federation. You know the way sometimes when you want to get a really great haircut, so you go to a really expensive stylist, and then sometimes you just want to get your hair cut, so you go to the haircutting school and pay almost nothing. Well, this is the same thing. This is basically, it's good because you can access coaching when you don't have a lot of resources. It's not so great if you want the most experienced or most seasoned coaches, or if you wanted somebody who's committed to the profession of coaching. Because remember, certification students are not necessarily bought into the fact that coaching is their new job forever. Your second option are free webinars. So most coaches will offer some kind of free offering to a group of people. Free webinars, free coaching calls, free information sessions. When you participate in those, they're usually free, and you get to partake of some inspiration and some insight and some wisdom and some good energy towards your clarifying your goal or working towards them without paying anything. The downside to free webinars is that you're not getting a lot of individual attention, if any, and you're not necessarily going to see some really major change or long-term work. This is just a quick hit of inspiration when you don't got money to hire nobody. So that's an option for you. The third option is group coaching. Group coaching is when you are in a group and you get coaching by one coach. And these groups usually take a certain amount of time. So you're working with them for a short term with a group of people. These are great for getting a quick hit and working with a coach and getting introduced to their style or whatever their specialty is, and you can get a quick goal met. These aren't great for getting individual attention, time to process through your own blocks and challenges in depth, and they aren't great for long-term goals, really big challenges or achievements. The fourth option would be short-term coaching with one coach. So one-on-one coaching with a coach over a short period of time. Again, you get a lot of one-on-one attention, but only for a certain amount of time. So it's less expensive than a long-term coaching engagement, and the results you get are the results you're going to be able to achieve in the short period of time that you're working with the coach. The next option would be one-on-one coaching that's covered by your corporation or workplace. Obviously, this isn't money out of your pocket, so it might be cheap to you, but it's going to take away from your training or professional development budget for whatever period of time you're working with a coach. It's great for working on professional development goals, leadership competencies, manager competencies, getting better at something, overcoming a block at work. It's not great for two reasons. One, rarely can you work in deeply personal goals. You can't become a more spiritual person or deepen your meditation practice generally with corporate funded coaching. It's possible, not always possible. And corporations often require some degree of insight into what's happening in the coaching, so it's not entirely private. Most coaches have to keep things confidential, but when I'm on a corporate engagement, I'm often asked to share the themes that are shared in coaching, generally not specific to a client, and just the relationship with the organization changes the types of coaching you can do. The client in this instance is the corporation, not you. The final way I'll describe that you can work with a coach is one-on-one work where you're paying the bill, private pay. Now, in private pay, one-on-one coaching, you're working with a coach for a significant amount of time and you get all the attention to work on whatever goals are important to you. Private pay one-on-one coaching lets you work on the stuff that's really important to your heart and soul, regardless of whether it's important to your workplace. It doesn't matter whether you need to work on it for your job. You can work on anything that's important. My private pay clients have worked on issues like work-life balance, having more time to write or become an artist. Other people have worked on things like, am I even in the right career? What's my next step? I want to totally change things up. That's where you get the biggest bang for your buck personally in one-on-one private pay coaching. Caveat is that it's more expensive, but look at the value. You end up getting much more important results for your own mind, body, spirit, soul. So I know what you're thinking. All of this is great, Ray, but what does coaching actually cost? Let's go to the numbers. A 2017 Sherpa study, and I'll include the link in the description, covered the general ranges of one-on-one coaching. So here are the numbers according to that study. Life coaching, where people are working on things that are important for personal goals, costs anywhere between $150 to $200 a session. These are US dollars. Business coaching, where you're working on business skills or business knowledge, costs around $200 to $250 a session. And executive coaching, when you're a C-suiter working on executive development and skills, those are around $300 to $400, the average being $360 per session. When people hear these numbers, a common response is, oh my God, Ray, coaching is so expensive. Why is it so expensive? Think about the value that coaching creates. If you could achieve this big picture goal, if you could overcome all these blocks and barriers and make this big picture change, what would the money value be to you, to your career, to your business, to your life? It tends to be worth it when you look at it from that perspective. If I could achieve this, it would be worth X amount to me. So now let's talk about how to pay for coaching. You have three options when you're paying for coaching. If you're working on professional development and you work for an organization that offers you professional development dollars or training dollars, you can use that budget to help pay for or to completely pay for your coaching hours. Most people think it's only for training. Often you can use your training dollars to pay for a coach. The second thing you can do if you're paying for professional development coaching is deduct it from your taxes. It's a professional expense. Talk to your tax preparer to make sure that you're doing it appropriately and legally. If you're working on personal growth, generally that's not something you can use your training dollars for or your tax deduction for, so it is money out of your own pocket. Personal change is something that you have to pay for. Now, one question I'm often asked is, hey Ray, I'm paying you out of my pocket, but we're talking about business or professional development stuff as well as personal stuff. Can I deduct it? And the answer is, if you coach in a context of professional development, often you can deduct that coaching. As coaches, we coach the whole person, even if we're coaching in the context of professional development. Talk to your tax preparer, make sure they give you their opinion. Okay, it's time for you to consider, if you were to make the kinds of changes coaching can help you make, what would the money value be to you? How much money would you be willing to devote to invest in that change for your life? Think about that. In the comments, I'm curious to hear your questions about paying for coaching or how much coaching costs, and I'll respond to each one. That's it for now. Ciao from Ray Coach. Take care.